YouTube. So
We
go
are
ahead, Roo.
live. We are live. We are live. And yep, it's still 2025. Peace, 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 everyone. It is just Sister Roo of MaWu Lisa Temple, and I'm here today with another episode of UnRead with Nick and Roo, the book reviews, unread books, reread books, books that we love, authors that we appreciate, up and coming and formally established. We are here with you today to bring you the second episode of 2025. I'm so excited. We jumped the year off, Nick, in such a beautiful way. Numbers and you, Brother Lloyd Strayhorn. If anybody is not familiar with him, get familiar. Check out that episode. Nick has been putting some amazing clips up from that interview because definitely it was iconic, and I feel honored to be able to have the brother here. We are coming to you today, another episode that we are happy to present to you, and hopefully you will be able to glean some great information from, and if not that, at least pique your curiosity to go and check out these books. Nick, how was your week? I know it was freezing in the mountains, so tell me what's going on down there in the city.
Man, I mean, it was freezing down here, in the city below the mountains, but it's been freezing all over the place. Even Florida got snow. Yeah, out in Panama City, they got snow out in Panama City, so it's been cold everywhere across the country, just about. But it's been but the cold did not deter me. I still got to it. Stayed on the purpose, stayed the course, took care of everything I need to take care of. So although the cold was very uncomfortable, I had to keep it moving. So it was a great week. It was a short work week, but short in terms of days, but normal in terms of energy that I expended. So even though it was a 4-day work week, it still felt like 5 days by the time Friday came around. But it was a great productive, high vibrational week overall.
Absolutely. Well, that's always good to hear. That's always good to hear. You know what? You always bring your best energy to the talks and interviews. So I'm never worried about that. But that work week, boy, we got to start working smarter and not harder. Because I don't know about you, but my bones is like, all that working hard. I don't know about that. But working smart, we can do that. So this week, Nick, I mean, I don't even know. We started off so great. I don't know, where can we go from here. Are you excited about this week's offering?
I mean, of course, I'm excited every week. I'm always excited to talk about books and nerd out on books. So of course I'm excited. What kind of question is that?
Listen, I don't know. With cows freezing in Texas, I gotta ask where we even are sometimes.
Oh, that's a fact.
So we gotta reality check every once in a while.
It's very true.
Every once in a while. Well, Nick, I am all for allowing my partner to go first, but if you want me to just kick out the gate, well, what I got going on over here, bro, I'm gonna let you know. This one right here is, I don't know, it's not something I usually talk about in public too much. So wow. I'm excited to be able to bring it today.
Oh wow. Well, mine is light. So I don't know if you want to ease the people into it, or you would just want to, hit them over the head. That depends on what vibe you want to go with.
You know what? It's nothing like a good wake up slap. So I'm like, since we doing some slapping anyway with this particular topic, okay. I'll be glad to and honored to go first. Right. In all seriousness, We've seen a lot of things going on in the world um, these past couple of months, especially in this past couple of weeks, with people's feelings being high, their emotions being high over the running of the country and the direction the country is going in, and how that affects us, not only individually, but our families, our communities, and our nations. People are worried about their jobs, they're worried about their health care, they're worried about their elders, their children, they're worried about their food, they're worried about their water. And I mean, even with this extreme weather, they're worried about the things going on with their shelter. We got wildfires going, we got freezing cold going, we got mudslides going. And somebody will say, there's always all these things going on, but to be magnified the way they have been in these past couple of months, we would be remiss and even ignorant to the point to ignore it. Um, I am a person who has been um studying for a very long time. One, because like Brother Strayhorn said, we Aquarians and we nosy, we want to know everything. But outside of that, as a mama bear, if you will, mama lion, if you will, I'm always worried about my children and their children and our community and these things on a bigger scale. And so there's certain topics that I kind of shy away from going into detail when depending on who I'm talking to. And the only reason is because some of these topics can be volatile. And I've seen rifts and tears in relationships over the politics and religion that people talk. So with that being said, I'm either coming with politics and religion, right? Well, we know I love religion to talk about it anyway, and to study it. But before I really got uh established in my way and found my way on my path, I started school for politics. I was going to school for politics. And it wasn't because I had this great belief in the system. Yes, I said that. It wasn't that I had this great belief in the system, but I needed to understand, understand why the system looked the way it did and why it treated people that looked like me the way that it did, in our history with that, and where it started from and how it got there and where it was going and how it was affecting me. I mean, even as a youth, in school, I was faced with some of the things like prejudice and you know and uh nepotism was all around me, because I was in a place where people had no problem playing favorites. And so it made it very difficult for me. So politics is something that I wanted to study, because I felt like, just like when I studied comparative religion, if I could understand it from its core level or from its origin, I would better be able to see where we can go with solutions, because y'all know I'm on my solution base, right? So politics, what's going on right now in the world is crazy. And not so crazy like it's never happened before, because we got to look at history now. But crazy because so many people are yet still unprepared and still um uh leery to believe or to accept that the things that they're seeing are really happening. The book that I'm bringing today is from a brother who had the same kind of feelings I do about being able to go in and understand things at its root. Um, his work here that I'll be offering today um, was part of an idea for a larger offering, but like he'll go on to tell us in his own words, he felt like this book needed a book of its own. So, conspiracy theories. Um, when we talk about politics and religion, conspiracy theories are going to come up. And again, this is one of the reasons why I don't really discuss it with people who are not emotionally aware enough to be able to have those kind of conscious conversations, and talk solutions and decisions and all that things like that with just anyone, because again, um it can get really wild out there and the rabbit hole can get pretty deep. um I love words, and for those of you who love the homework that I always give, look up the word conspiracy. Make sure you look at all of its definitions and its root, its etymology, and you might be surprised that it's not what it's made to sound like. Whenever you challenge anything, the status quo in this society, you are considered a conspiracy theorist, basically, or a lunatic or a nut. And I think all of those kind of go in the same category. But you know what? I've been called worse by better. So, while I don't consider myself a conspiracy theorist, I will say that through my studies, I've had to study many people who are and who do ascribe to some of those more extreme things. However, what I'll be sharing today with you, we'll see, is not extreme at all. It's actually on course for exactly what's going on right now. So, with all that talking said, let me put on my spectacles and share with you, if I will, the New World Order. The New World Order. The New World Order. I don't know if it's flipped around the right way for everybody.
Hold on. Let me fix that. Let me fix that real quick.
Okay, flip that around.
No, keep it up.
While you're doing that, it's by A. Ralph Epperson.
Yeah, put that back up. I'm about to flip it around. Yep, just hold it there. Yep, there we go. There we go. Yeah.
And this is my offering for today. Woo! So, as you know, on UnRead, we not only bring to you unread books, we also bring to you books that need to be reread. As a matter of fact, this unread series was supposed to split itself into an unread and a reread, but we decided to put it together because it's more fun that way, because somebody hasn't read this book and somebody is going to reread this book. So why take up two spaces when you can take up one, right? But anyway, the New World Order. Okay, let me put it there. When I first got this book, this is a first printing, and you'll be able to see once I start to go through it, because you're going to see me moving very gently, because I have several pages that have come unglued because this is a first printing. The first printing of this book was done in 1990, and I was young, and I was still young and kind of wild back then. I was very angry. And that's why it's on my reread list this particular year. Copyright 1990, A. Ralph Epperson. Printed United States of America. First printing was August of 1990. All the way, it was reprinted again twice in 91, once again in 92, fifth printing in 94, and sixth printing and seventh printing in 95 and 96. So 96 was the last year that it was published, and it was from a catalog of books and videos and other things produced by him. His other works are The Unseen Hand, Introduction to Conspiratorial View in History, God Exists, There's No Other Option, and yes, New World Order. Now, let me say this brother has a myriad of videos and things that people can find. If they do their research, they'll be able to find not only what I was able to find back then, they'll be able to find so much more. One of the beautiful things about the interwebs. But do be mindful where you get your information from, and do your due diligence and read about it for yourself. Now, about the author, okay. If you notice, my pages are kind of ripping, so I'm moving real slow, y'all, real slow. It says about the author, he decided to write about himself. He didn't allow anyone to write for him. So if you will indulge me, I'll share with you what our brother Ralph Epperson had to say about himself. When I finished writing my book entitled The Unseen Hand and was preparing it for publication, I decided that I would add a brief page describing a little bit about me and the reasons I had written it. I felt that it would assist the reader in understanding my material if I included some brief comments about my personal background. I've become an avid reader since my graduation from college, and I've noticed that many of the works I read frequently failed to provide some of this background information. So I feel that I must include similar information in this, my second book. I started reading in 1963 when a friend of mine noticed that even though I was a college graduate, my knowledge of history, political science, and economics was woefully lacking. How many of us can say that, right? Woefully lacking in some of those areas. I started reading at his insistence, and I haven't stopped since. Reading one subject got me interested in another, and then another. And the process ultimately led me into the esoteric world of secret societies and concealed symbols. How many of us can say that that has been our journey? I know it's that particular part about being an avid reader. I was an avid reader, but man, when you realize what you don't know, it is definitely fuel to keep on going. He goes on to say, as I continued my reading, I started noticing that I was discovering the evidence of an enormous truth, a truth that had escaped almost all of yesterday's historians. There was no question that some of these researchers had been moved to expose a part of this truth, but I was unable to find the one book that would put the entire story all together. My search for that book, that elusive volume, continued, but I simply couldn't find it. About a year ago, I started feeling the need to write that volume myself. However, feeling extremely inadequate for a task as important as this one, I decided that I would redouble my efforts and locate it to one volume and put all the work together in an easily understood text. I continued my search into the writings of others, hoping to find someone who had performed this task before me, but I continued to be unsuccessful. Since I was unable to find that one book, I decided to write it myself, and this is this effort. So please accept this modest work, an honest attempt to put 26 years of research into one volume by an individual who feels completely inadequate for the task. I can assure my reader that my self-perceived inadequacy is only because of the importance of the information discovered. The choice seems to be doubly difficult, and not only must my research be thorough, but I must also make the information I have uncovered believable. And he goes on to talk about how exhaustive this work was and how he felt it very important to reference everything before he gave his own thoughts, insights, and opinions. And I really appreciated that because he's giving credit to what sparked the questions inside himself. Now, I will say to you, this book, this book is not one of those books where you're going to sit down and you just going to, you're going to walk on through here and not feel your feels and ask yourself questions. Well, you should be. Because there's information in here a lot of us have never heard. I know when I got this book in the late 90s, like I said, I was very angry. I was angry out the gate. I found out that I had been lied to my whole life, and all I wanted to do was find the reason, fight the man, and bring the system down. You know what I'm saying? Like I was on my fight the power kind of thing, and back then we actually used to go to lectures and we would sit in for hours in think tanks and talk about some of these things. And this was one of the books that some of the people referenced along with a lot of others. So I'm not going to read all the chapters here because there are 39 chapters. But I want to pull out a couple of points that can at least begin to spark a conversation for today, and also intrigue you to be able to go get a copy and read it yourself. So chapter 1 is Tomorrow's Rulers. We just had some very important change of hands go on in the country. Seeing what his thoughts are about tomorrow's rulers is definitely some place that we could glean some information for right now. Chapter 2, the New Age movement. That is where we are right now. Chapter 6, concealed mysteries. How many things are supposedly being released to us in this time, and that have been considered mysteries or unknown or otherwise over the years. Lucifer worship. We've heard a lot about that. And in chapter 9, he talks about how that plays a part in politics. Chapter 10, becoming a god. He talks about some of these things that would be relevant to today, and some of the positions and some of the things, experiments in science and otherwise that are going on now where people are becoming or thinking they are gods. The chapter 15, the Illuminati. I don't think I have to say anything else, right? Okay. Chapter 17, Adolf Hitler.
That's gonna be,
Okay. Chapter 18, the Great Seal. Chapter 23, the Hierarchy. Chapter 26, the Humanists. Chapter 27, situation ethics. I thought that was really important. My departure from politics into medicine really got me interested in things like ethics. Like, you already deal with ethics in politics, as you see, but when I went into the health field and we began to talk about things like medical ethics, it really gave me fuel to go back and look at ethics and politics, because a lot of politics end up running things in the healthcare field, and you ask yourself, why are these things connected? But again, I digress. Chapter 28, attack on religion. 29, attack on the family. And these last ones I'm going to read, I want you to really think about what's going on right now and really think about some of the things MaWu Lisa Temple, Nick and I and our companions try to bring to you. So we talked about attack on the family. How about the right of association, being able to gather and be and talk and come up with solutions on our own? The attack on education. Nick, do that sound like something we might have talked about before?
Oh yeah.
The attack on
Absolutely.
education.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about this next one in chapter 33? The attack on property.
Mm.
34, the attack on nationalism. Where are my people at? Do I got some people in the chat? Do I got some people writing? Who talking to me about nationalism, the attack on it? Have we been talking about these things?
Mm-hmm.
And then it
Absolutely.
goes on to answering the skeptics, because you're going to always have people who are skeptics and not going to believe, you know. My mom used to have this saying, right? You're not going to piss in my face and tell me it's raining. You know what I mean? Like, but we got some of that going on. You know what I mean? And then it goes on to the Reagan and Bush era and how that affects what's going on, or how he felt it would affect what's going on in the future, because he went on to talk about his thoughts moving forward. And then he talks about solutions. And he has actually some back here in the back, he has some questions that he says questions answered. So he talks about how his students and friends always agree that conspiracies exist, but then they still have these questions. So, New World Order.
We can span that. There we
Right?
go.
New World Order. This is our offering for today. And Nick, I mean, what are we gonna do with this? What are we doing with this? Is this a read for you or unread?
well, first I'll go. Let me go to the chat. You know, shout out to my sister Queen BTV.
Hey,
She
Queen
said
B.
ethics and bias are a huge problem in healthcare.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yep. But
Thank you
this
for sharing that, because that's a really important topic, even dealing with the things we're dealing with now.
Indeed. So, is this a read or unread? So, for me, this is an unread. However, it's been on my list. So, while you were talking, I went back to see when did I put this on my list, because I know it's been there for a while. So, first, I put it on my Amazon wish list. It's been on my Amazon wish list since 2016. And then when I opened up my Goodreads account, I went back into my Amazon wish list and added all those books on my list to my Goodreads, and it's been on my Goodreads list since 2018, my to read list. So it's been on my list for a while, and I think that's going back to what you were saying about the lectures. So I probably heard it in one of those lectures. Of course, I wasn't in person for these lectures like you were, but I'm sure I was listening to some classic lecture, probably from the early 2000s or the 90s or something, and someone probably mentioned it. That's probably how it got on the list. So it's an unread, but it's a to read. It's been a to read for a while. I just haven't gotten around to making the purchase.
You know what? Thank you for sharing that. And you'd be surprised, how many times. I think that's where a lot of my unreads come from, being in these spaces and places with these very information filled folk, and they just drop a bomb of books on you, and it's like you can't even read as fast as they making these offerings, not incomprehended anyway. And the reason I kept referencing the fact that I was very angry when I read this book back when I first got it is because of the simple fact, rereading is important to me, because I've matured, I've grown, my views have changed, the things that I've learned about the world, the things that I've learned about myself and my place in the world has changed. So reading these things now, while they still may make me just as angry or not, the point is I'm looking at it with mature eyes for today and not something that might possibly happen. I've seen these things happen. So for me, there is no conspiracy. For me, the if I had to ask why, we know the question, we know the answer to that is going to always be greed. Greed is always the base of these kind of things that go on in the world that harm the people who are not in that, we'll just call it a tax bracket and a social status, like it said, the hierarchy. you know um I've heard some words thrown around recently, um like oligarchs and and I mean, think about when you heard these words last. And believe it or not, he has a chapter in here on Russia. Everybody talking about China. We can't forget about Russia and how that had a major effect on some of the things that's going on now. Um, the Masons and
Sure.
Hiram Abiff and Mason. You know what? Masonic obligations.
Okay.
You
Speak on it.
know that's way down in 24. So I mean, I'm not going to jump down there and get the popping down there, but I want to just I want to see, where would you like for me to because we put it like this. If you said you had one question that was most simmering in your mind about reading this piece, what chapter would be most appealing to you right at this time out of the ones that
Goodness.
I've shared?
Goodness. I mean, it would be a couple of them, honestly. I mean, really, honestly, all of them. But I thought about the ones that are most relative and relevant to what's going on right now and what we've heard so far in the transfer of power and everything that's been going on in the news. So, but the first thing that I wrote down was the chapter about the mysteries and the unveiling of some of those mysteries. And I thought immediately about the unsealing of the JFK MLK assassinations when you mentioned that chapter. But a question that came to mind, and I don't know if this is touched on in that book, is if those documents are unsealed, how much of those documents will we be able to see? Or will it be like when they unsealed those UFO documents from the Pentagon and everything was redacted? So that was the first thing that came to mind. And then when you mentioned there's a chapter on Adolf Hitler, I thought about Elon Musk doing that salute too. So those were the most immediate ones, although I am very curious about all the chapters.
Thank you, thank you. I totally agree. And the chapters I pulled out were just for that reason. I mean, again, the first printing of this book was 1990. I got it at the end of the 90s. You know, and I don't know about you, but I ain't never had heard of an Elon Musk. I had never heard of a Donald Trump or definitely not a Joe Biden, and of course we had never heard of a Barack Obama. It was a lot we hadn't heard of. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I mean, we hadn't even had a quote unquote president that looked like us ever when this book came out. So can you imagine what a reprint of this book would look like now?
Right, man.
Oh, but as for what you were talking about with those documents being released, remember I told you that, one of the things about this particular author, he is considered a huge conspiracy theorist, even by his own definition. And when you asked the question about the documents, the first question that came to me,
What's that?
why? Because this is the question that came to me when it happened anyway, was why now? What relevance is it? If it's redacted, why release it at all? Right? And more than that, is it even real? Because for years, you remember when people would talk, you watch movies, you're a big movie head like I am, and you're an old history buff like I am. You know for yourself, when somebody said they saw an alien or they was abducted, they was either thrown in the rubber room or hushed forever. You know what I mean? Just silence. So my thing is, for you're releasing a document now that says everything those people were saying was true. So who goes and give these people their life back? You know how many people, and I said this before, you know how many people family abandoned them because they thought they was straight crazy? You told them you seen an alien, and you told them you seen an alien. You told them you heard something. You told them you saw something in the sky. You told whatever you told them, they went and got you rubber room checked, yo.
Yup, straight jacket up.
What? Crayons and cookies, that's it. You know what I'm saying? So that was my one question about that. And then my thing is, what is the purpose of releasing the information about Martin Luther King right now? Why? What do you hope to have happen from releasing this information now?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are you letting us know what we always knew? Like we knew you always did, but now you telling on yourself. But let's jump over into the other place I don't really like the whole lot of talk about, but religion.
Yeah.
In the Quran, it says, and they will confess their sins. You see people, everybody telling on themselves. You ain't even got to do nothing right now. You just sit back and wait.
Yeah.
They telling on each other like it's open season.
Crazy.
Well, this one did this and this one did that. You know what my question always is? Wasn't you there?
That's how they know.
Wasn't you there? And so now all of a sudden, 30 years later, 40 years later, you want to tell. What I mean, it makes you wonder. One of the things that I am adamantly against is fear mongering. And all this, the aliens are coming, the government is falling, the end of the world is coming. We've been hearing the end of the world is coming since, I don't know about you, but since I was a child. My nana used to tell us we was going to hell in the handbasket and it was coming any day soon. You know what I mean? Soon come. Soon come is what she would say. Soon come.
Yep. They always come up with a new year too.
Always. But you know what? I'm going to say this. If we ever look like it, damn it, we look like it right now.
Right. Right.
Definitely. It is terrible that I can laugh about it but it's so like, if there was ever a time, I've looked at this. Like, I've looked at when my nana would say these things. So we talking like the early 70s when we was small. She would be like, oh, the end of the world coming in. And you would hear people, the end of the world coming. And you would look at what's going on in the world and things would be bad. But one, we didn't have access to things like we do now with the internet and be able to see it with our own eyes. But right now, the things that's going on, oh, things that have never happened before is happening right now. You know, I mean, never happened before. Now, a lot of it is the same because, as we know, there's nothing new under the sun. But the exposure on this one, boy, the sun acting out. You know
That's
what
right.
I'm saying? The
That's
sun
right.
acting out. But let me go in here to this chapter 6, this concealed mysteries, because
Yeah.
I think this is something that, you know, we both appreciate because we've talked about it before.
Yeah.
Chapter 6, concealed mysteries. In all time, truth has been hidden under symbols. Simple statement. Signs, symbols, things all around us. You know what I'm saying? Hence the great seal and the mystery behind that, and why
Yeah.
people are still to this day arguing about the decoding of that particular
Mm-hmm.
symbol and what it really means. And he does go into detail about how he studied that in here. Um, and he says symbols are nevertheless ingenious veils that cover the truth. He goes on to talk about Albert Pike, who is, if you want to read some interesting work and you got time, you know, Pike's work is very interesting, very interesting, very interesting work. And he was under the southern jurisdiction of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. And it says, there certainly seems to be a power in knowing something that you can't tell your family, friends, children, businesses, acquaintances. And then it says, it is best with this selection from his writings that says, of all the means I know to lead men, the most effectual is concealed mystery. So, in other words, if you want to lead people, you got to let them know there's a mystery and then keep it concealed from them. Sound like some chasing the carrot stuff to me, buddy. Rabbit
Yeah.
hole. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that all go together. Didn't know that. It says a symbol veils or hides a secret that which veils certain mysterious forces, and these energies, when released, can have a potent effect. Now, what did I just say? Why are they releasing it now? It has a potent effect. Do you know how many people mad as and hot as fish grease right now talking about Martin Luther King? Like, we knew that some shady stuff was done. Now, the
Mm-hmm.
extent of what they saying was done, of course, is horrible. Of course, it's horrible. But it's just like I said about when they brought back roots. That's right. I said it. When they brought back roots, I said all they was trying to do was incite ancient anger inside of us. They was making sure that you so angry that you can't see.
Mm-hmm. Yup.
That's that, and those are my personal thoughts. How do they say on those the thoughts of this particular host is not the yeah,
Yeah.
this is my thought. They want to
That's
make you
rude
mad.
people. Yeah. Yeah. And that's funny. That's funny you said that because Gemini, the Hood Oracle, just said in the comments they want to incite people. She said that as a reason to why they're unveiling these documents and about JFK and MLK and who's the other one? RFK, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's more to come. It's more. I mean, they are literally talking about the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. See, it's important to pay attention. Now, see, this is where you got to know your history and your documents and what documents govern what rules and why rules are being able to be changed so swiftly. We don't even. Somebody just. Somebody just changed like 78, 92 things in one swipe of a pen. In one swipe of a pen. Wiped out stuff that was worked on for years.
Crazy.
Ask yourself why. What is your goal? What is your end goal? And but I'll say this, and shout out to everybody that's paying, that's chiming in right now. Please make sure you keep on putting your thoughts in there, sharing with us, and make sure you keep following us too, man, because we about to light it up this year. You know, most I willing, we about to woo. But you know, I say like this, all of the things that are being revealed, when you ask yourself why, think distraction. The same reason you're not able to be able to dive into knowledge. Like people get accused of just being lazy. Oh, you don't want to do the work, you don't want, but people are under so much stress. We talked about this food, clothing, shelter, and guess what? He talked about it in the New World Order too. We talking about it right now. Look at what's happening on the news. People ain't got nowhere to live. They ain't got nothing to eat. Now their insurance is being taken away. They ain't got nowhere to work. They sleep in their car. They wrong. They ask for money. They wrong. Oh, you need a permission slip to be able to ask for donations now. You know, on the street, i.e., brother, can I get a dime? No, you cannot unless. Can I see your paperwork? And then I can give you a dime. Look at where we are, people. This is not just a theory now. This plan in action. And my point is, if they are telling you this now to incite something in you, and you confuse and you run out there all sideways just out of with emotion, you think, what? Am I going to tell you something I'm not ready for you to hear? Like if I know what I'm going to tell you about to make you punch me in my face, you think I ain't ready for you to get ready to come punch me in my face?
Of course.
Like, come on now, let's think, y'all. It's like, yeah, be at this location at 5 o'clock and come alone. What? No. What the fuck is wrong with you? No. No. Let y'all stop falling for the, what do we call it? The banana in the tailpipe. Stop falling for the banana in the tailpipe, people. Please. Please, please, please. It says, the knowledge of the ancient mysteries was never revealed to the layman except through the media of symbols. Now, think about it. Everybody, first thing they do, they roll over and open their Instagram.
Yep.
Now, if you open up Nick's page or my page, well, welcome. But if you rolling over into the rigmarole, guess what happened last night? This is who was killed. This is where the kids fight. This is who got burned up. This, like, we are overloading ourselves. We already overloaded with all of this information moving so fast that we don't even realize what's going in. These symbols, these signs being flashed at us constantly, even logos, things that we look at. People really don't understand that this is a well-laid, wicked, intricate plan that did not start yesterday. Mm-hmm. Some of the people that's playing this game don't even know how wicked their part in it is. They think they're doing the right thing.
Facts.
You know, they think they're doing the right thing. And I always, I tell people like this again. I always say, any good that come from me come from the good in me by my creator, and anything else is just me and my folly. So I am fallible like everyone else. So I always tell people, if I say something and you go check it, I don't check it. And if you find that I'm wrong, come back and let me know. Because I don't want to be running around here chasing my tail neither.
Right.
So, it talks about here, like you asked about Kennedy, right? And I'm gonna go back here to the introduction. Now I got this part highlighted. I took look at that, my page is popping out. I told you I had this part highlighted. This is in the introduction. It says the April 1974 issue of Foreign Affairs, the quarterly periodical issued by the Council on Foreign Relations in New York, had an article in it by Richard N. Gardner, the former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for the International Organizations in the Lyndon Johnson and John Kennedy administration.
Okay.
You asked about John Kennedy, right?
I did.
You asked about why they releasing the fact that things ain't what it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or why they murked that brother in the first place, right? That's what you really be asking yourself, right?
Yeah, there's
a
few theories on that. Yep.
Well, what I have highlighted here says to me, it says that their thoughts were, we are likely to do better by building our house of world order from the bottom up rather from the top down, and end around national sovereignty, eroding it piece by piece, is likely to get us world order faster than the old-fashioned assault. That sounds like he said, this system broken, we need to start over again. Am I hearing that wrong? Am I reading that wrong?
Listen, that's how it's sounding. That's how it's sounding to me too.
That's how it's just sounding. And I love that they go on and they talk about Angela Davis.
Okay.
And her people's the thoughts and the people's daily word in March of '89. It says those familiar with Ms. Davis will remember that she was the vice president candidate for the Communist Party a few years ago. She currently is a member of the National Committee of the Communist Party of the United States. So you gotta remember when this book was written, y'all. Okay, so while this was going on, he was writing what was going on, but he was also talking about what was to come. And finally, Nick, I'm gonna give this one to you, and then I'll let you let me know if anybody has anything they'd like to talk about in particular, or if you have any more questions that may come up for you. The last thing you asked about was Adolf Hitler and how that stood out to you.
Mm-hmm.
It says that Adolf Hitler, a socialist and head of the German government prior to and during that nation's involvement in World War II, is quoted as saying, National Socialism will use its own revolution for the establishment of a new world order. He confided to the president of the Danzig Senate, National Socialism is more than a religion. It is that we will create supermen.
Superman.
It is the will to create supermen. Or Superman, it says. And so he added this thought, and this is what I want to end with.
All right. What you got over there?
He added this thought when asked about building a Superman. He said, well, yes, exclamation point. We are barbarians.
Barbarians.
And barbarians, we wish to remain.
Remain barbarians. What? Wait, what?
It does us honor. Period. It does us honor. It does us honor.
Wow.
And it says, it is we who will rejuvenate the world. The present world is near its end, and our only task is to sack it. I don't.
Man.
New World Order, y'all. New World Order.
Yeah, I'm just go to these comments.
Yeah, just go. Let's get in the comments. Let's get in the comments, y'all.
Man. All right, let me scroll back up. So
please do. And thank you everyone for joining us and participating in these talks. We love it. We do it because we love y'all.
Indeed. Yep. So we talked about inciting the people already. Yep. So Gemini also said the pen is mightier than the sword. Yeah. And this is the new great flood. I've been saying we miss everything because of the flood of information.
Woo! Who said that? Give that person some snaps.
That's Gemini the Hood Oracle right there.
Yes, yes, mother.
Yep. And BTV said, I bet they will hide the parts they want once they release those documents, starting with the Constitution.
Woo! You better talk about that.
Yep. And Gemini again. So basically, they will burn this shit down to take it back again. Yep.
or burn it down and allow us to build what we want. Didn't they burn our shit? I mean, excuse me.
Yeah. Oh, right. Talk about it.
Wait a minute. What time is it?
Talk about it.
You know, like I said, when I read this book as a young person, I was so angry. I had just learned about things like Rosewood. I had never heard about nothing like that in my life. You know what I'm saying? Black Wall Street. What is this? I remember thinking so many things. And they was like, burn it down. I was like, hell, can't burn it down. You know what I mean? Like, but now I look at that as a great opportunity. You know, one of the other things that I think we need to mention here, and it's even been mentioned recently in the current news, is that whole integration thing was something that was talked a lot about by Martin, by the by the Kennedys, and by many other people that were, for the building of this great melting pot nation that we were all supposed to hold hands and sing Kumbaya around this melting pot, right?
Right.
But at the same time, there were those who were adamant about us staying separate and saw the benefit in it. And there can be a whole conversation about that, what it would have looked like for things to stay separate. You know, people always think separate means fighting. It doesn't. Separate means you mind your damn business and I mind mine. You deal with you the way you deal with you, and I deal with mine. It's as simple as our household. We in the same community. We walk out the same door of the same building every day. But what happens in your unit and what happens in my unit is our business. And we run that like we run that. And I don't see why people couldn't see the bigger picture of that sometimes. I do, but it's to be argued. If this is the decision you made, I'm going to let you sit with that. Let's see how well you do. That was my thing. My thing was like, oh, you don't need my help? Okay. Build the country then.
Right. Yeah.
Grow some food. Keep yourself alive.
Right.
With your barbarian ways. Keep yourself alive. Or do you want to be all wise and civilized? What's up? There's a difference. What else we got going on down there in that chat?
Okay, let's see. Hold on, let me get back to my spot. All right. BTV again. After World War II, America brought all the scientists and government officials to work for America. Operation Paperclip.
So woo! Woo!
Yep.
Woo!
Yep. Yeah. And then they're also going back to that Hitler chapter. The salute was one thing, but I saw someone say, that was for Antarctica. And you want to talk about those them space programs and things that got going on over there, allegedly. German scientists, to be exact, from World War II. Yep.
It's like, you remember that old song, Games People Play, Games People. So you might be too young for that one. But if somebody in the audience remember when I talk about games people play, games people play, man. Games people play. What is that? What is that saying? Wars and rumors of wars and all of these things, right?
That's from the word. Yeah.
That's from the word, right? Yeah. I tell you like this. This book again was written, like I said, 1990, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the introduction.
Yeah.
In the introduction. See?
What you got over there?
Y'all know how I get, because in it's Aquarius season, you better all the humanitarian in me is like
yeah,
right. Yeah. Shout out to all the Aquarians. Pop. It's our season. It says, right, so this is in the introduction, and he's talking about he said, I'll go back in order to get to the point I want, the highlighted part. Okay. It says either in 1776 or 1889, the 200th anniversary of the Constitution could serve as a suitable target date for culminating a national dialogue on the relevance of existing arrangements, the workings of the representative process, and the desirability of imitating the various European regionalization reforms and of streamlining the administrative structure. So the people of the world can now determine what those changes are in the positions of implementing changes that are in store for them, right? So remember when we were doing Human Rights Week and we were talking about, people being more involved in understanding how things work and learning how to govern themselves, the importance of, sovereignty and understanding it, and nationalism, and being able to choose your nation, right? All of these other good things. Let's read the highlighted part.
Okay.
The old world is coming to an end.
Uh-oh.
It will be replaced with a new way of doing things. The new world will be called the New World Order. This new structuring will redistribute property from the have nations and will give it to the have not nations. Wait a minute. Let's read that again.
Run that back. Hold on, run that back.
This new structuring will redistribute property from the have nations and will give it to the have-not nations.
Woo. Woo. The last shall be first, the first shall be last.
Woo, baby. Baby. Just think about that. Think about what's going on right now. ICE was in Newark schools. Well, they tried to be. They tried to run up in the schools yesterday.
They did?
They just put the X on that shit. They was like, you know, I know they tried to run up, they ran up in some place, and it was all over the news, and schools were issuing, information to let people know that was not something they could do in the schools, on the school property. So I mean, fact, I'm like, did I miss something? Did they tell ICE to go start doing stuff? I don't know. And I'm like, and then the question is, who's supposed to be here and who ain't? That's what y'all escorting people. You need to be getting on the plane. You need to be getting on the plane. You talk about sending somebody somewhere. You need to be getting on the plane, my friend.
Talk about it.
My friend. Because last time I checked, this whole mud ball, especially this part we call North America, North of Mexum, for all mine who know what they know, Turtle Island, right? For all those who know, I mean, last time I checked, we was the have-not nations.
Right.
Because, somebody decided they was the have nations. So the new structuring will distribute this property from the have nations to the have not nations. And it says, oh, did you think I was finished? I'm almost done.
Truth is, Roo is never done.
Facts on God. The New World Order will include changes in the family. Homosexual marriages will be legalized. Parents will not be allowed to raise their children. The state will. All women will be employed by the state and not allowed to be homemakers. Divorce will become exceedingly easy, and monogamous marriage will be a slowly phase out. The workplace. The government will become the owner of all the factors of production. The private ownership of property will be outlawed. Religion. Religion will be outlawed, and believers will either be eliminated or imprisoned. And there will be a new religion. The worship of man and his mind, and all will believe in the new religion. It goes on to finish. Well, it ain't finished, but I'll finish with the United States will play a major role in bringing in the New World Order. World wars have been fought to further its aims. Adolf Hitler, the Nazi socialists, supported the goal of the planners. The majority of people will not readily accept the New World Order, but they will be deceived into accepting it by two strategies. Those in favor of the changes will become seated in thrones of power, generally without the public realizing it. Didn't they call that man the first lady? And it says the old world order will be destroyed piece by piece by a series of planned nibbles at the established format. I shall yield the floor. Because
Good.
I feel like I done gave us a lot to talk about. And I've been talking.
You did. They leveled the conversation. I didn't even finish going through these comments. Let me run through these real quick. So, yep. So they definitely know they sell. Yep. Integration was a mistake for us, in my opinion. Shout out to BTV again. Gemini the Hood Oracle been telling people that too. Divine wealth distribution. Yep, and you know, listen, I'm really enjoying this talk too. You enjoying it, I'm enjoying it too. Yeah, we really enjoying this talk.
Hey, listen, you know, I'm gonna tell you, I usually have my books organized by, you know, I have a system. Let's put it like that.
Yeah.
And usually I can lay my hand on any book or any topic if you ask me where it's at, even though it looked like I'm living in confusion. This is one of the books that I keep with a very special set of books because of the simple fact it's a book that always needs to be looked at again. And again, I don't get involved in a lot of these political conversations because people don't have the emotional intelligence required to do this, and I refuse to argue with anybody. You know, and definitely can't debate. What? Stop playing.
Right.
You don't want to see me like that. But all I'm saying is, this book, you know, while it's a read, it's an unread because with things steadily unfolding the way that they are, being able to look at what was predicted for us by a brother who just found that he could not find the answers. He was called the conspiracy theorist. I'm sure he was called worse. I'm sure he had things done to him. I'm sure he had people abandon him, you know. But what I will say is that he was honest in the fact that it's a work that continues to need to be done, and that while he felt inadequate in being able to present it, he felt like he could present it in a way enough for us to want to do our own due diligence and go out and see how this stuff applies to us, because we are very much here in the now, and whether we want to be a part of this system or not, we are. And the things that's happening in it are affecting us. The price of food, well, first of all, the quality of food, the price of food, you know, the situation with water, the situation with housing, education, moral standards, virtues, principles, values, all these different things are being affected. And you and I were just recently talking about even religion and spirituality and raising young people now, and trying to figure out what do people even believe in anymore, what's no longer serving us, what does serve us, and how can we get to a place to be able to not only you know, navigate this new world order, but do as those who envision and build our new world for ourselves. So that's what I'm bringing to the table this week, my friends.
Oh yeah, that was an amazing offering, and right on time. Right on
Thank
time.
you. Thank
Yeah, so you know, yeah, you're definitely encouraging me to pick up the pace with getting around to that book.
And like I said, it's not a go in, read cover to cover. Take it as you know, take it as you need it there, I
Yep.
don't read newspapers or watch the news But if for those people who do, I would say take your current day news and refer to that book. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
that would be my suggestion.
Yep. And that also reminds me, you said 1990, and it sounds like some of the similar themes and topics that came out that came up in another book that came out during that time, Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper. You know,
Yeah.
that one I do have.
And that one sits with that one.
yeah, exactly. You know, that's like, you know, companion text right there.
They are very much so, and not an easy read either.
Oh yeah, not at all, not at all. I was trying to find this. I was trying to find a video clip to introduce mine, because I was going to make a connection between your offering and mine.
Yes, as we love to do,
Yeah, but I can't find it right now, because it would have been the perfect introduction, because I can't articulate it as well as the Black Dot did, but I'll introduce it this way though, and I'll say this about the people that are carrying out this new world order, right? You know, we say that they're planning for 100 years in advance, you know, and when you're planning that far ahead, that's like playing chess, right? Because when you're playing chess is a game of strategy, and you have to plan. If you're a real chess master, you're not just planning one move, two moves ahead. You're planning like 5-10 moves ahead. And with this game of chess that we're talking about with the New World Order, it's not just chess on this 3D, three-dimensional realm. They're playing 5-dimensional chess. And that's what the clip I was looking for was talking about, how these elites, you know, this cabal, whatever you want to call them, they're playing 5-dimensional chess. They're at the top of the proverbial pyramid, you know, while your puppets, like your entertainers, those that the masses kind of look up to, those millionaires and billionaires, they're at the bottom of the pyramid, you know. That's the game of 5-dimensional chess. So with that being said, connecting the New World Order to chess, my offering for this week is chess self-teacher.
Okay.
Yep, the chess self-teacher. And I'll put myself big so you can see it. Yep, chess self-teacher. 8 lessons with quizzes and reviews by Al Horowitz. So this is a game / how-to book, and I was inspired to bring this book to UnRead because I traveled with my school's chess club team. 3 of the boys were competing in the K through 12 national chess tournament in the National Harbor located in Maryland, just outside of DC. And that was about almost 2 months ago, at the beginning of December. And I learned how to play chess the first time, I think maybe about 4 years ago, in around 2021, I think it was. I know my father attempted to teach me how to play chess when I was much younger, at, you know, maybe like 9-10 years old, something like that. He bought me a box with a chess set, chess board, chess pieces, but I wasn't having it at that age. I wanted to go outside and play basketball. I wasn't trying to learn how to play chess. And besides, checkers was much easier to learn how to play. So I didn't have the patience or the interest in playing chess at that young age. But as I became an adult and I really saw that chess was a game of strategy and that chess wasn't just a game, but you can take the principles of chess and apply it to life, I was like, yeah, I need to learn how to play this game. So I first learned how to play chess in 2021. Shout out to Dr. Tillman. She showed me how to play chess that first time. And I say first time because I had to learn again. After I learned that first time, I never practiced it. So I kind of lost it. I kind of forgot how to play. And then maybe about a few years later, maybe about 2 or 3 years later, the god Amel Ra-El taught me how to play chess again. So shout out to him. So he taught me how to play chess again, and then I started getting on the computer and playing against on the against the computer on the website. And that's a fact, Golden Mine. I'm definitely a rookie. I don't want no smoke. I don't want no smoke. I don't want no smoke with you, man. Because hey, he talking big in the comments right now. I'm good. I'm good. I'll come see you in a couple years or something. Let me get my strategy up a bit. But anyway, this book, I found this book sometime in the middle of that time when I was first introduced to it, and I didn't have any interest in playing it, and when I learned how to play it. So sometime in the middle, sometime, I don't even remember what year it was. It had to be around the time where I put the New World Order on my reading list. That's how long it's been, probably. But this book, I think I found this book somewhere. I don't remember where I found it. If I found it outside somewhere. But I found this book, and it belonged to someone. It's definitely used. It belonged to someone. It has someone's name in it. So shout out to Joseph Ciampedi, if I'm saying that name right. But his name is inside this book.
Thank you, Joseph.
Yeah, thank you, Joseph. Yeah, I hope you weren't looking for this book. I hope you purposely left it behind so someone can pick it up. But this book was published by Everyday Handbooks, and Everyday Handbooks are self-teaching books on academic subjects, skills, and hobbies. So chess is one of these hobbies, but they also have books on the humanities. They also have books on other games and crafts, education, history, political science, languages, foreign language, literature, business, economics, and law. And I guess this is a subsidiary of Barnes and Noble or Barnes and Noble. So it's a subsidiary because it looks like it was published by Barnes and Noble.
Okay.
And they published some other books on chess too, by the same author, along with some other authors. How to win chess games quickly, attack and counterattack in chess, first book of chess, chess for beginners, improving your chess. Now the author Al Horowitz, this is what it says about him. It says he has earned a twofold reputation as one of the foremost chess players in the United States and as a leading writer on the subject. He has been a United States Open chess champion 3 times and has also been 3 times a member of the United States World Championship team. He is the author of over a dozen books on chess and is the founder, editor, and publisher of the magazine Chess Review. He runs a column on chess in the Saturday Review and in the New York Times. He has also taught university classes and has lectured widely on the techniques of chess. Among his books are 4 published by Barnes & Noble Incorporated, First Book of Chess with Fred Rainfield, Chess for Beginners, a picture guide, The Golden Treasury of Chess, and then this volume that I'm holding right here. So it sounds like Golden Mine. Golden Mine, if you're the real Golden Mine, if Al Horowitz is still alive, that's probably the person you need to play against, not me. So this book, and I say that because if he's still alive, I say that for a reason. I say that because this book was published in 1961. So this was published a long time ago, a long ass time ago. so that gentleman may or may not still be around. But this book consists of 8 chapters. And I'll just name off the chapters, and then I'll show you the insides, because there are some images. He actually gives you the images of the chessboard. So it starts off with the game of chess, followed by basic checkmates, pawn endings, minor tactics, mating combinations part 1, mating combinations part 2, strategical objectives part 1, strategical objectives part 2. And those are the chapters. The book is little under 200 pages. And like I mentioned, each chapter represents a lesson. And then when you go inside to the lessons, you'll see, and now let me expand this. You'll see they got the chessboard there. So you can walk through the lessons and the exercises. And this is a completely unread book for me. I might have picked it up and looked at the introduction, or maybe looked at the cover and the back cover, but I haven't actually started reading it yet. But now that this youth chess tournament that I attended with my students, now that I attended that, I got a renewed inspiration to get back into it and start practicing, and not necessarily to become a chess master and to compete with others and to beat others in chess, but more so, like I said, to apply the principles to life, and also for the neurological and the psychological benefits, the health benefits of, just keeping the brain sharp and the brain active. But this is my offering, chess self-teacher. If you're a chess player, let us know in the comments. And Roo, let us know, do you play chess? Are you a chess player?
I actually do play chess.
a little bit. Stuff.
I actually do play chess, and shout out to my Uncle Gene. He's no longer with us in physical form, but he was the one who introduced me to a lot of things outside of the norm, i.e. things like penny stocks and all kinds of stuff like that. He was very much in the world. He went to Pace University, and he was one of those people who was into numbers and strategy and forward thinking and things like that. I actually used chess as one of the teaching tools when I was homeschooling my children. And I have to say, my youngest 3 children play chess better than I do probably now, because they play more often than I do. And so I will say that consistency is definitely a key. But I will tell you like this, because you learn, like you said, the principles of these things, strategy, they'll never be able to beat me like that. Shout out to my babies. But yes, chess is something where I won't say that I'm ready for no smoke. So whoever in them comments, don't be trying to come for me. Don't do it. But if you want to, hit me up. No, but no, I'll say this is that I've learned more with the principles and strategies of chess than just sitting down, i.e. playing, because I really didn't have anybody to play with. And back when y'all was sitting there playing, I didn't have a computer to play on, so it was like those old movies where you see people sitting and they're playing themselves. I never been able to really do that without making myself win one side or the other. I'm not good at just doing the strategy. It was like going for the kill. And I thought it was interesting when you were listing the table of contents, because the first thing it talks about is checkmates, you know, and that in itself would make me look at that book and say to myself, why, well, we starting with the checkmates. So let's talk about what checkmates can be. And you know, that's what I do for a living. I'm professional and personal development coach. So therefore, I take everything and turn it into lessons. And as dean of education, you know, that's the fun part of it for me, taking things and being able to use them in lessons that help us with every day. But chess is something I truly enjoy. I enjoy all board games, actually. I'm a big gamer. I'm a big gamer of all kinds. So because there are great lessons in that. And I will say that my desire to get back into chess, much like yours, is multifaceted. And one of the things, though, is just being able to keep the mind sharp. And when you mentioned the gentleman and when the book was first written, I was going to say he could possibly be one of those old men sitting in the park playing chess, whooping up on people and taking names. You know
Very
what I'm
much
saying?
so.
So it's definitely great for the sharpness and keeping you sharp. So definitely I am appreciating this offering today. Reminds me what I could be doing with some of my time.
Yes, yes, indeed. Now, I didn't find the original clip that I found a few years ago, but I found a similar one, you know, from the Black Dot, and I want to play that really
Please
quickly.
do.
So this is what I
Love the
wanted to
Black
open up
Dot.
with. So
Peace to
he's
the
talking about.
God.
So yep. So he's talking about five-dimensional chess in the contents of in the context of hip hop, but
Okay.
we could very much apply it to the new world order. And some people, and as I was looking for the clip, I saw someone mention that President Trump is playing five-dimensional chess. so
Well now.
we connecting these dots here. We connecting these dots
Now.
here. So hold on. Let me share my screen. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
And let me turn my mic off so I don't get the echo.
All right, and I'll turn mine off too.
The game of hip hop is like the game of chess.
Yeah.
On the lower level of the board, P. Diddy was a king. On
Right.
a higher level of the board and executives, maybe a rook. On the third level, where the true masters live, you just a pawn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Yep.
and then once these collapse onto each other, it's checkmate.
Yeah.
You know, if you can keep them separated, you know, usually on the lowest level, your people are always going to see you as that king.
Yeah.
When they turn you on you on the lowest level of the board, it's a wrap.
Right.
On the highest level, you just a goyim. You just a goddamn goyim that we move, and when we move you here, you move there, and then on the lower level, you reap the benefits of 30 pieces of silver that we allow you to live and act like.
Yep. Yeah. So that's what I want to open up with at the beginning.
Not the 30 pieces of silver.
Yeah. I mean, the Judas effect, the Judas Iscariot effect. Yep.
Yeah.
So we always find a way to connect these books, even if they seem completely unrelated on the surface.
And we never planned. So that's the beauty.
Yeah, this is
of
what
it.
surprised me. This is a surprise me week. I didn't know what Roo was bringing. Roo didn't know what I was bringing.
Did not. You know, I wanted to actually ask you, talk to you about this 5-dimensional chess versus, you know, in what ways would we be able to see that manifest? What does that look like when people are playing 5-dimensional chess?
To me, it sounds like I was saying in my opening about how many moves ahead are you thinking? Are you thinking 2 moves ahead on the chessboard? Are you thinking because when you're thinking of moves in advance, you're thinking about your next move, but then you're thinking about what your opponent is going to do after that, and then how you can, and then what you're going to do in response to that, and then how that person is going to respond to that move. So when I think of 5-dimensional chess, I'm thinking about how many moves ahead are you thinking, or in other words, or in other terms, how many years are you ahead are you planning for? Are you planning for the party this weekend? Are you planning for next month? Are you planning for next year? Or you planning for 10 years from now? Or are you planning for your legacy and your children's children after you long gone from here? So how far in advance are you playing and strategizing for? So that's what I think about with 5-dimensional chess. 5-dimensional chess, you planning for 100 years from now. 1-dimensional chess, you thinking about what you wearing to the club this weekend.
Yeah, and I think that's a great way to explain it. And it kind of just segues into what I was thinking when you mentioned it the first time when we were talking about the other book, and I asked the question, I posed the question, why release these kind of things? Why share this kind of, bringing back movies like Roots and 12 Years a Slave and and all these other books, movies and books and stories, and then again releasing information that was so-called secrets, before. Why do it now? And it's part of a distraction technique. If I can keep you focused on what you wearing to the club, there's no possible way you could think about what your great 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 grandchildren is doing in the future. There's no way you can do the both. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what happens, in this, and why it makes it so easy, in my opinion, for the New World Order to just establish itself without nobody even paying attention, because they got you focused on all the wrong things. They got you focused on this lower vibration, and there's no way that you can play on the 5th dimension if you worried about simple things like food, clothing, and shelter. You know what I'm saying? And and I just I sometimes wonder if more people who were aware of the manipulations that were taking place, if more people who were aware of these things actually decided that they really were going to play on that level, what that would look like for our growth, and what because I do believe in spontaneous growth. And I think that's one of the ways that we could see and experience that, because again, the focus on the mundane is just is it. And I mean, and like you said, that lower rung, we talked about hierarchies in that book. Those celebrities and all them fall on that rung. They fall on there. They part of the people that keep the world distracted, while all the higher things are going on. It's like, here, look over here, so and so BBL busted. It's just like, so and so get married, and oh, wait a minute, they cheated with their same person. The woman cheated with the man, and the man cheated with the man, and woo, how fascinating is that? And again, talked about this in the New World Order, things that will keep you distracted from ever really having that checkmate moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Indeed. Yep. Well, that this is my offering. I need to I do so many things that sometimes I spread myself thin as far as making time to do all these things, including playing chess. But I'll work it in there somehow so I don't lose those skills on how to play chess. And then I think once I get a little bit more consistency with playing with the basics, then I can get into some more of these advanced tactics, and start experimenting with some of these strategies, these mating combinations and minor tactics. I'm not even going to go into detail about reading some of these because some of y'all going to be looking at me like I got two heads. I'm going to be reading this like I got two heads. Like what?
I did want to throw one thing out there that came to mind when you were talking, Nick. And you talked about, the people that are planning for 100 years, those that ability to be able to do that, and the people on the lower part and how they can advance. And I was thinking to myself, one of the things that I found challenging about trying to learn chess, and even one of the things that kind of deterred me, was sitting down learning all these strategies, like this opening move and this close move, and this person, and winning this many moves. And so I was thinking to myself, right, self, if I was playing this game from a higher level, first of all, I don't know about nobody else, but I like to win. I like to win, you know what I'm saying? And though I'm a good sport, trust me when I tell you, I am trying to whoop up on you when I'm playing. You know what I mean? And so I asked myself, if the people who have been able to take this system and manipulate it at a high level, if they know that all are these patterns and strategies and the way that they teach you how to do it by the book, aren't they gonna always win? Once they be like, oh, you're using the Helsinki stuff, and it's just like, and once they know what you using, they could whoop up on you. But now think about this though. Think about this. What are one of the things we always talk about? The ability to think, adapt, and change on the spot.
Yep.
So for those who will ever really, in my opinion, succeed in being on the lower run and beating somebody on that level, would be the ability to know, or would be the knowledge to know that, one, they think they know what you're doing, and two, you can always keep them on their toes by learning how to think for yourself, which is what's going to help us survive in the new world order, being able to adapt and think for yourself. Because what did it say? Everybody is not going to accept this. You know what I'm saying? Just like on unscheduled occupied time, they had people running around here doing things they did not want to do, but they pushed them hard enough to make them want to do it. They used fear and other tactics to make them want to do it. But when you're able to think for yourself and decide for yourself and stand for yourself and be like, well, my world look like this. The way I want to live my life look like this. The way I want to make my moves look like this. The more you're like that, the less likely you are to suffer in your battles with those people that's playing on a higher level. You'll be able to roll up in there and give them a little surprise. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That's what I'm talking
Right.
about. But yeah, I was just thinking about that. Going back to just thinking for yourselves, man. Really paying attention to these things, and not being made to feel like you're not allowed to look at these things, tie these things together, and apply them to your life.
Mm-hmm.
So what we got them comments doing? I know somebody down there talking slick. What they doing?
Oh nah, they nah, it's just my boy Josh Press, he said over Instagram, we still got Instagram vibing too. He said the fundamentals are important. If you don't know the fundamental principles, you'll always lose.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. True that. Make sure you pin that statement, because that is facts on fact.
Yep. Yeah, but that's about it though. That's about it. I think we put in some work on this one.
You know what? I think so too. I feel like we brought some offerings this week that were definitely relevant to what's going on right now, and definitely something that can help us navigating this new world order. New world order, y'all. New world order, y'all. New world order. And
play chess, not checkers.
Hey, listen. And you know what? I love that it's chess, a self-teacher. You know what I mean? Self-teaching. Because if you really gonna get this, you gotta know how to do it for yourself. Real talk.
Absolutely.
Real talk. Well, Nick, I think this was another week that we brought the heat. We opened up this year with some fire, and we bringing some more fire this week. And I know in 2 weeks we got some other things all revved up. I know I got my books lined up already, so I'm just letting you know.
I know you do.
I'm switching them around, as the mood changes. But I got a stack. I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? I got a stack.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know how you do, and you gonna be especially be showing out at that next episode. It'll be. Your divine day doesn't fall under unread week, but it's in between there. Like you said, it's Aquarius season, so I know you on one. I know you.
Oh, am I ever? I feel fantastic and amazing. Glad to be alive during this time. Greatest time to be alive.
Yep. So everybody wish Roo a happy divine day.
Thank you, everyone. You'll be seeing me in between them. Inshallah, get in here, we get our thing done. But everybody, thank you so much. Again, this is your sister Roo, and that's my brother Nick. We are here another week with UnRead, with our UnRead Book Reviews. We had 2 wonderful books that we presented to you today, and though they may not have looked connected, they are connected, because as that brother shared, you got to know the strategies. You got to know how to get her done. And if we're going to navigate this new world order, whether we ushered it in or not, we have to have a strategy. We have to have a plan. We have to know where we've been, what we're doing now, so we can determine where we are going tomorrow. So this is your sister Roo. Thank you for joining us. If you are not following us on Instagram, please get over there on Instagram and check us out. Follow us. If you're not following us on YouTube, please do so. Hit that little bell so you can know when we're going live, doing some things. And hey, until next time, keep reading. Don't forget, if you got any books you want to share with us, any thoughts on the books that we've covered or books that you'd like to see us cover, please always email us at Mawulisatemple@gmail.com. And I'm your sister Roo, and that's it for me, Nick.
All right. Peace, y'all.